Hello and welcome to another Nihongo Gamer video. We've obviously just got back from Tokyo Game Show, and obviously there were a lot of great games, and there was a lot of VR, there was Monster Hunters, Final Fantasy, all the stuff that you expect to find at Tokyo Game Show, but I think what we're really here for is the booth babes. And it wasn't just booth babes, right? So they've got booth boys as well now, and I think there's going to be a real push forward this year with PlayStation Vita because, I think they've discovered this extra market for girls, which I don't know why it's taken them so long to discover. Like, Nintendo was making games for girls, or, not for girls, but they were targeting girl gamers, and they've been doing that for years now, and like, Sony has those games, but with the Vita, they've only really been targeting the male otaku demographic. So it's really interesting because now we don't just have booth babes and booth boys, but now we also have booth androids, right? So Vocaloid is, if you're not familiar with it, Hatsune Miku. These synthesizers also have, characters. We've also got Vocaloids that are male, and it's just so much easier to target every different demographic. So what's really funny with the booth babes now is that they have them just standing in front of the stalls looking good and making the game look sexy. They're also like coming into the booth and leaning over you and like saying, oh, this is how you play the game, right? And they're basically holding your hand through the experience. I would have probably wanted to buy the game more afterwards as well. It was really cool to see some of the guys from Bungie there playing Destiny. That guy, James, he's like a designer of the strike missions on Destiny, and so it was cool to see like a designer of the game playing his own level. And there's a bit where he's like, oh my god, I don't know where we are. It's like, you know where you are, you wrote the level. But a little bit of theatrics aside, it was a cool experience to watch them play the game, and Destiny is an awesome game, so that was just a cool experience anyway. But yeah, Sony had this massive, like, 3-screen long display that was just huge. And it was so much more impressive. Like, Microsoft was across the way, and Capcom was across the way, and everyone had stuff that, like, Sony has big bucks right now, I think. They're pumping the sound out, and right across from it they have D3 Publisher. So if you're not familiar with D3 Publisher, they've got this game called Dream Club, and in Dream Club, they've just got these host girls playing songs and just basically doing karaoke for you in the bar, and you just get them drunk, basically. The actual game is kind of cool. If you're learning Japanese, it's actually quite a cool game, because there's like conversation, and you can learn different accents and stuff. But the version on PS4 is called Host Girls on Stage, and you literally don't do anything, you just press the button and just watch them sing and dance. There are definitely fans of it, and they had a live show going, and that was really cool. So they're like singing their hearts out, or they're lip syncing to the karaoke. And it's hilarious because like Sony's across the way playing Destiny, like bashing out rocket launcher explosions, and they just cannot compete against Sony. And they had to do that for 4 days straight. So Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate is going to be coming out in the West, but before that 4G will be released in Japan. Giant monster statue at the front, and you can actually enter. The Monster Hunter booth is quite cool. You can actually enter and walk around. There's like a whole environment that they've created just for Monster Hunter fans. So Capcom's got the remake of Resident Evil. They're going to redo the original game in HD, but they're also going to be doing Revelations 2, so there's a lot of horror Resident Evil games coming out. The TGS trailer for Final Fantasy 15 was, eye-watering. I really, really enjoyed that. But I think I was actually more excited about the demo for Final Fantasy Type 0. Because Type 0 was only a PSP game, but this time it'll be on PS4, it's going to be beautiful, that looks really, really good for now, and it will definitely, bide us over until Final Fantasy 15 comes out. The other thing that they had at TGS was virtual reality. Man, Oculus is amazing. My eyes were bleeding, but not just like, it wasn't just beautiful, right? I was playing the Oculus demos, and like, I was literally leaning back like this. Like, there's a girl, and she like does this to the screen. She's like this. And at that point I was like, whoa! And I knew that I didn't have to, but I think when you put the Oculus on, you want to believe that you're there, and you will kind of go with it. I think even if there are things that are not quite believable, you just want to go with it. You want to believe. Like when you watch a good movie, like you can see that it's being acted and you know it's through, but you want to lose yourself in the experience, and Oculus is doing a really, really good job of that. DK2, which is the current version of Oculus, like you can still see the pixels are pretty big. I mean, I guess that's a result of putting like a screen like this close in front of your eyes. I don't know if there's any way to make pixels even smaller than they are now. But that said, I completely forgot about it halfway through the experience. I didn't care how big the pixels were. So obviously they weren't just big developers, there's a massive indie corner. They say corner, it was like smack dab in the middle of the room. And it was huge, there were a lot of indie developers. So I was obviously there meeting people, just talking about their game and seeing how they'd made it and how much progress and what kind of reception they had got. And it occurred to me when I was talking to a guy, he makes a game called Dusty Raging Fist. And he was just like, oh, actually, I speak English. So I was like, oh, let's speak English then. And it was at that moment that I really appreciated that having studied Japanese and playing all these Japanese games for so long had given me, you know, a skill that I could use to meet more people and learn more about their games and stuff. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't studied Japanese this whole time. So I think if there's anything I took away from TGS this year is that, you know, studying all this Japanese has really been worth it. You know, I'm definitely going to be studying harder, and there's going to be plenty more gameplay videos coming. Just a selection of things that I picked up at TGS. I've got a whole folder full of stuff here. So I picked up this folder, I've just got this for free. Some more characters here on the back. This is an indie game I found called Magical Battle Festa. I'll just zoom in there so you can see that. Yeah, it was cool. It's got like, I think it's like multiplayer, you're a magical girl or a magical boy and you have a team of things and you can fight other people. Some sort of special code for Detective Conan, I don't know what this is. Grand Blue Fantasy, some people have noticed this was my desktop background the other day. I have got this on my phone actually, it's free to play. Illustrations are beautiful, it's got voice acting, the download size is not very big. It looks like some sort of Puzzle and Dragons type game, but based on Angel Beats. You may or may not have seen the anime for this. I haven't. I think I've seen like one episode of this anime. You can never have too many Bejeweled clones, can you? So that's the gameplay there. This is Phantasy Star Nova. It's going to be like Phantasy Star Online 2, but offline mostly. And you play with 4 players. I guess it's going to be a bit like Monster Hunter, but a little more portable because you don't have to be playing online. I think if I had a gripe with Phantasy Star Online 2, the problem was like, I'm not always online. I want to play those games mobile. I don't think you can play on the 3G connection, which is a bit of a shame. Here's a book I picked up from Capcom. It's really funny, so they have the booth babes like hand these out, like, and it's like an experience. You like walk through the line so you can like receive it from a booth babe. And it's got, you know, it's just got just general Capcom stuff in it, but then you get like to the back pages, and then all of a sudden you have these like, it just turns into a sort of hot women shoot. You never really know what you're picking up at TGS. Got a Hatsune Miku folder here. Again, got this for free. Usually these folders cost like 300 yen. Got another folder here. This is a Phantasy Star Online 2 folder. Not sure which character this is. I think she probably hands out the missions in Phantasy Star Online 2. And then on the back, I've got another illustration there. So that's pretty nice. So TGS tickets cost about $10, and these usually cost about $3 each to buy. So I got 3 of these folders. I've pretty much made my money back just in free stuff from TGS. So all in all, I've got to say I had a really good time at TGS. I honestly didn't play that many games, but I had a lot of fun, and I could see that a lot of people were getting excited about stuff, and that's something that still happens in Japan. Like, people get really, really sort of fanatical about stuff that they like, and I think that's really, really cool. I think my real takeaway feeling from TGS, though, is that it was worth learning Japanese. Going up to developers personally and telling them, you know, I really enjoyed playing your game, and seeing they kind of appreciated that you learned a bit of Japanese just so you could say that to them, like, you know, that appreciation, you can't really put a price on that. It was really cool. Did you go to TGS? I really want to know what you guys thought about the show. I had a really great time, obviously. Thanks for subscribing and all that cool stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Tokyo Game Show at Kaihin Makuhari, or Makuhari Mess. It's in Chiba, which is where I live, and it's, even though it's called Tokyo Game Show, it's actually in Chiba, so it's one of those things like Tokyo Disneyland is actually also in Chiba, so hooray, Chiba! Power!